One of the most powerful things you can do for your career is to become influential. And in order for you to be influential, you have to get to the place where people are consistently listening to you. But that sometimes can be a lot easier said than done. In today's video, I'm going to give you 4 easy things you can do to get to the point where people listen to you and understand that you are an influential person within the organization. Let's go. Now, the first thing you have to do if you want people to listen to you is build credibility. Now, you can do this in a few different ways. A few things you want to do outside of work, and then a few things you want to do inside of work. Now, outside of work, it's really important that you engage in continuous learning. Now, for me, I went and got my MBA. But continuous learning looks like a lot of things. You can get a green belt certification. You can get a project management certification. There are a host of things you can do outside of work to work on your continuous learning. You can also subscribe to industry newsletters and stay well-read on the current trends, topics, maybe even general finance news, right? Being well-informed, doing continuous learning is going to build up credibility. Now, in work, what you need to do is make sure that you're contributing in meetings. In meetings, you need to contribute. You need people to hear your voice in order for you to start depositing in the bank of credibility. But it's also really important that when you speak up, it's a value add. It can't be just you talking to talk. This isn't a participation award. You can't just say things in whatever comes to mind. When you contribute in meetings, you need to make sure it is meaningful. It's an idea that people want to listen to and isn't something that just fills airtime and fills space. Now, the way you get to the point where you can contribute in meetings like that, well, that has to do with your continuous learning. And these are why these two are in the same package. Building credibility is a big effort. It is something that happens over time, and it's something that happens with consistency. So for the first one, building credibility, make sure you were learning outside of work, you're continuing to be a continuous learner, and then you're using that information you gain to contribute in meetings in a meaningful way. By the way, if you're finding value in this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. It's free, it tells YouTube I don't suck, and it motivates me to make more videos like this, and it really helps the channel. And if you're willing to do that, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss one of my 3 free weekly videos, all designed to help you nail your next interview, land your dream job, and advance your career. Now, the next thing you want to do is make sure that you are always catering your message to whoever you're speaking to. A speech isn't just a great speech, right? Because if you give one speech to one audience and you give it to a different audience, it might not land the same. It might hit different, depending on who you're talking to. The message you're going to use should vary depending on who is hearing it. Some people like comedy in a message. They like a bit of levity when you're giving a presentation. Some people want all the facts. They just want data. And you need to make sure that when you're speaking, when you're communicating to people, you're understanding what is the message they want to get. What do they want to receive? What is going to get you to your goal with this person? Your goal might be influencing them. Your goal might be shifting their perspective. Your goal might be gaining buy-in. Well, if you're hoping to do that, then you need to understand what is going to work for them, and you need to cater your message to your audience. This might take time getting to know them. This might take time just like listening and understanding what makes them tick. But it is really important at the end of the day to make sure you're crafting specific messages for the specific group you're hoping to influence in mind. The next thing you have to do is become a storyteller. The power of story is real. If you want to convey a message, if you want to influence people, if you want to get people to pay attention to you consistently, one of the best things you can do is become really great at telling stories. Telling stories is a great way to underscore your points. If you have a point you want to make, if you have a change you're hoping to influence, or implement. Having a story that gets people leaning in and understanding your idea and creating an emotional connection or buy-in can be a really powerful tool. People who go into a presentation and just go data, 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 well, you're going to lose some people. Some people are going to love that. But if you can get people leaning in because of a powerful story you share at the beginning of a presentation, and then you can bring it home with hard statistics and data that, again, kind of fortify the point you were trying to make, that is a much more powerful way to do this. Story is proven to be incredibly powerful when it comes to speaking. So the next thing you need to do is understand story. Understand how to get people leaning in, and understand how you can use story as a weapon to influence people. Another powerful thing you can do is learn the 7-38-55 rule. The 7-38-55 rule is basically the rule that talks about how people are influenced by communication. And basically it states that 7% of communication is what you say. 38% of communication is how you say it. And 55% of communication is actually body language, right? You can be incredibly influential with your body language and in your emotion. If you take apart just what you say, you still have 93% of your ability to communicate. So understanding that, understanding the role that emotion plays, how you say something, enthusiasm is really important. So if you want to convey messages in a way that make it so people feel compelled to pay attention to you, to lean in, to listen to you, to make what you're saying sort of a can't miss event, it is really important to understand how you are communicating. Posture is important. Eye contact is important. Smiling is important. Energy is important. The way you emote is important if you want to convey messages in incredibly powerful ways. Now, the reality is communication and being influential is better if you're in an organization where that is accepted and you feel like you can actually influence people. And one of the things that makes it harder to influence people is if you're working for a toxic boss. That's the type of situation in which you're never going to be able to truly grow as a speaker, presenter, and as a person. But how do you know if you have a toxic boss? That's why I made this video here. This video here is signs that you work for a toxic boss. And if you work for a person like this, well, maybe it's time for a change. So I'm done here, but I will see you over there.